and then you'll die.
Hey there, YouTubers. Trifectaterminus here. Today we're taking a look at the alpha run of Project Haven. With that being said, there are lots of problems with this game and some really cool things, but it is in alpha, which means that, ultimately the end result, we're not there yet, right? We're building the systems that would allow us to make the game. I say us, I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but all the bugs and, things that are wonky, those kind of, they come with the bag. So there are some good things about this game. There's some cool ideas behind it. Excuse me. And there's also some things that are, not so cool. So without further ado, let's take a look at it. Project Haven. And we're off to a bad start. So started out with a glitch. Couldn't get this character to move. I think what happened was it failed to go into free move mode. So I ended up having to save it, exit it, restart it, and then it launched into free movement mode. One of the cool things that this game brings, some of the cool ideas, is they've got this thing called free mode, free movement mode. And until you see a bad guy, until you've identified a threat, you can just kind of move all of your characters wherever you kind of want, which I think is reminiscent of like real life, right? You don't have to slowly pick one guy, move him here, pick another guy, move him here, pick another guy, move him here, and methodically get to a position where there are now bad guys that you get to, fight against. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that I liked a lot was the aiming mode. There is, you hit the space button, you start looking down your sights, depending upon which direction your character is standing. I got a little bone to pick with the whole standing thing, because I feel like you should be able to move to a position and then like hold the movement button down and drag it so that you can point a certain direction when you're, once you've gone to where you want to go. And I don't feel like you should have to use action points to do that. But in this game, you do, right? You move to one place. You'll be looking in the direction that you've traveled, and then you have to use another action point to turn yourself and look, wherever you want to look. So I thought that was kind of, didn't like it. Also, you've got this leaning mode, which I like, but it doesn't always seem to work. One of the things I think I'd do if it were me, I'd have the leaning mode tied to, aiming, right? So you could aim, hold the E or the Q button, and then lean out left or right. So this is the first mission. I kind of felt like the game was a little clunky, but again, we're at alpha, right? So give them a little bit of a break. I don't like how there's no indication how far you can go before you can no longer shoot. I feel like there should be like a white bar, on your distance, and then a red bar. If you go past this point, you'll no longer be able to shoot. And I don't know that happened all the time. Maybe it was just me. Sometimes it seemed like that was happening. Sometimes it seemed like it wasn't happening. And it's just confusing, right? Because there are a lot of times when I wasn't sure if I had any more action points to actually shoot. Like this right here, right? I think I should be able to shoot. I don't have enough action points. I had no idea that that was the case. Which is kind of, I don't know. One of the cool things about this game is as you take out combatants, you then are able to take their weapons off of the ground and put them in your backpack, which is cool. Excuse me. I think I need a little bourbon. But, yeah, and the cover process is pretty cool. I kind of like that. And another thing that I really like at this point, and again it's alpha, so we don't really know. So here, like can I look left? Can I lean right? I can only lean to the right. Well, I want to be able to lean to the left so that I can lean around this car, but I don't have that option. So it's just not recognizing that I'm, in a position where I should be able to lean my body out to the left, and I can't. But another issue I ran into was not really knowing when or how to get in an overwatch position. The other guys, the bad guys, they're in an overwatch position, and if I start to get up, they're going to shoot at me. But I was unable to overwatch in their direction. I'm going to be quiet and let you guys take a look at this gameplay and see how you feel about it.
Careful. I'm with fire.
And you fucking... Damn, that hurt. Choke on these nuts.
Yeah, another issue I think we're going to run into, although we might get that during beta, is like, why can't I shoot more than one time with a shotgun? I don't have enough action points. I think that'll come in kind of the beta balancing phase. Alpha, again, we're trying to build the processes so we can make the game. Beta is when we're trying to balance the game and fix any bugs that may or may not be going on. I kind of wish that I would have been able to roll out to the left here and actually shoot my firearm and then roll back out to the right, but I was unable to do so, obviously.
Nice and cozy. Coming through. Nice and cozy.
Another thing I noticed, and I'm not sure, maybe I just didn't see it well, but I feel like if you shoot somebody in the head, they should have more damage taken than than if you're shooting them in the thigh. But I don't know that there's positional damage modifiers, and also, again, it's an alpha build. I got myself in a position where, like, I was trying to shoot at the side of that soda can, and I couldn't aim at it, and it would either be, inside the soda can, or it would be left way far out away from it. Another thing we've got here is you can see the guns there are not ready. I don't know what that means. And it said not ready, and then it fired. So I'm like, I'm not quite sure what they're getting to with that. So it was a little confusing. So watch the developers play through at some point, and they kind of alluded to that guy being your tank, which, he's got body armor on. I also like how they do, I don't think the tank thing is really all that realistic, but I do like how they do positional, like, threats. Like, you know that these guys moved through this area, but you're not really sure where they are now. I think that's really kind of a cool, thing. I wish you would be able to rotate over so that you're looking out of your right eye versus looking out of your left eye. She's obviously looking out of her left eye right now. I feel like you should be able to go over the right shoulder, go over the left shoulder, but you can't do that yet, or at this point. Another thing that I noticed that I didn't particularly like was the commentary. It's just kind of dumb when they're like, you gonna blame it on lady cramps? Like, that's just dumb, you know? Like, come on. At least I thought it was dumb.
Shielding my ugly mug. You? Oh, fuck off!
A little help?
Hear that? Pawns are so predictable.
Ow! I'm hurt.
I like.
You know,
not
I get
getting
that
shot.
this is a 22 caliber firearm, but you just shot this dude in the face with a 22, and you know he didn't die, which is amazing. Also, I think this developer's not from the U.S., so there are lots of 22 caliber, you know, firearms, which I think is, I don't know, kind of unusual, you know, 22 firearms being rimfire, not very reliable. There'd be a lot of click, you know, no bangs with 22s. I do like the spark effect, almost like you're firing, you know, dragon's breath out of the shotgun, which you're obviously not, but I do like that. I think it's pretty cool.
Ow! I'm hurt.
You know, one thing I could definitely say for him is the graphics are pretty good, right? The characters are okay. Not a huge fan of
And so does
a
everything.
lot of the outfits that they're wearing. I think that's kind of, I don't know. But graphics-wise, it's not that bad.
Coming through.
So I think the gameplay kind of speaks for itself, and it does a fairly good job. I mean, you kind of can get the idea, which is what alpha is all about. Get the idea of what, you know, how this game is. You do have bleeding effects, so these guys are gonna, you know, when you hit them with a frag or you shoot them, you know, they're gonna start bleeding, and they could potentially die during, you know, the transition to the next turn because they've bled out, which I think is well thought out. But I mean, overall, I can't give the game a really great review. But being as how it is in alpha, you know, it's also not a horrible review, right? Because we're still trying to figure out how to make the game do the things we want it to do. With that being said, I don't know if I can give it a huge, you know, good review. Maybe 2.5 stars out of 5. Somewhere down at the bottom. This is all, at this point I realized that I was able to pick up stuff off the ground, which I really like. I like the fact that you could pick stuff up off the ground and you know, potentially get that cool guy gun that you've been getting murked with.
A sense of humor. Okay, bleeding more than is cool right now.
With that, we're going to move to the next phase of the game, which is the, you know, hideout type stage. I don't know that I think it's all that great. It's reminiscent of Phantom Doctrine, only not all there. So.
I've let Gecko know that the job's done, and he's as happy as a roach in Ricky's.
So there's lots of cinematics also in this game. The developer says, you know, they want you to build a rapport with each one of these characters. Only I can't get past the way how bad the characters look. There's a lot of clipping where, you know, a character's hand goes through, you know, their own body. So that's kind of not so great.
Gecko's just dropped our payment into the operations wallet.
Like, he just picked up that cup, but he didn't actually touch the cup.
Doormat for the enforcers.
She didn't really touch the cup.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Doesn't mean I have to like it. I think you're both going to like this, though.
What? Daisy? I wonder what the drama queen's got in mind for us.
Either it's tickets to a one-woman show, or another opportunity to risk our lives for cash.
Monologues versus machine guns? I'll take the guns, thanks.
So here we are, we're at the base. You can click on each of the characters and have them, you know, tell you something
Being a merc's a great way to make a dime.
cute.
Can we please?
So you kind of build that rapport with each character, kind of get to know how those characters live or are. But I just feel like it's basic. There's not a whole lot going on there. I feel like when you click on the guy in the weight room, you should zoom into the weight room and maybe be able to, you know, add weights, and those weights would then, you know, make your guys have better stamina so that you can work out and train while you're not on mission. Because later in the game, you're going to have more than just your 4 or 5, you know, characters. You can have several more. So we're gonna bypass this. She's just telling you about the next mission. And so my take on this is like the club where you'll get multiple missions or something to that effect. Not a whole lot going on. Yeah, it's sort of clunky. You can only look in this one little area. You can click on the missions that you already have at the HQ, but then when you go back to the HQ again, there's not a whole lot going on there. Had some issues with this, but this is just buggy. You know, these, you can't, you know, take the skill tree, and you can't seem to remove the skill tree to pick, you know, different characters to physically get their stuff. and do their loadouts, I had to kind of sneak around the skills tree. There is a fairly cool skills tree. You know, each one of those different abilities has its own tree points. So this is the light armor, has, you know, looks like multiple divergence, and you go into endurance, that's got multiple divergence as well. You go into stealth, it's got multiple divergence as well. So that's kind of cool, potentially, right? But yeah, this was real clunky, and just couldn't get around a lot of these things. Scarlet is the character that you've got set up here, but you know, switching to other characters was really kind of tough. I had to go back and click on, you know, another character, and then it just, I think this is a bug. So I would take this with a super grain of sand. It's not really a big deal. It's something that I think they'll fix in the you know, in the beta version, hopefully in the alpha version, right? Because it's a bug. Market's kind of cool, lots of guns. Of course, we can't afford any of them at this point. And yeah, as you're clicking on these other characters to get to their loadout, it's still saying Scarlet. So, and I guess this is another cool thing, right? You can invite 2 other players. Looks like you know, LAN playing, so you can invite 2 of your friends to kind of take different characters, which I think is cool. Then you can, you know, do missions and have multiple, you know, attack vectors with 2 separate individuals playing with different characters, which I think is, you know, looks like that's what they're doing. And if that is what they're doing, I don't know any other game that does that, so I think that's pretty interesting. So with that, we are gonna get rid of or end this review. I gotta tell you, it's not that great. 2, maybe 2.5 stars out of 5. Can't really give it a shining whatever. It definitely is an alpha, so, you know, I'm not trying to rake these dudes under the coals. Thanks for coming out. Talk to you soon.